I got my black ass back out here doing shows. Oh, I'm so happy to be on this damn thing doing these shows, man. But let me tell you something. These shows would not be worth a damn if it wasn't for my shawty, my sister, Jamaica Page. Hey, you.
Hey, you.
Man,
Terrible.
I'm out
You're
in
so
these
terrible.
streets, man. We back on the damn podcast / whatever we doing up in this piece, man. Man, I'm happy as a homosexual with a bag of penises.
What?
That's happy. I couldn't say that on the radio.
See,
Okay?
and that's what I'm afraid of.
I know.
At least with radio, because of the legalities,
gosh, man.
you
Thank
had to keep
you
it toned down.
much, everybody, for joining us tonight right here. Hey, Adley, how are you? Thank you so much for all of our friends all over the country who've been waiting patiently to engage in the lively art of conversation with myself, D'Amica Page, and you're going to see a cast of the Don Miller Show. D'Amica Page is, of course, working in multiple areas, so she's not going to be here all the time, but most of the time she will be joining us here on the Don Miller podcast. And we do what many people won't do. We do a live podcast. We do a podcast where you can call us. I don't like all that old cutting and pasting and running from your words. I want you to be able to say, if he said it, he sure the hell said it. You know, I don't throw the rock and hide my hand. And Randy Ross, I endorse Randy Ross. His ass has been texting me like, when you going to endorse me? Everybody know I'm endorse you, Randy Ross. We love you, man. We love you, bro. Again, so much going on today. So much to talk about right here. The question we posed at the onset of this conversation, D'Amica Page, shout out to that damn Phil,
Yo.
the podcast doctor. The question we posed on the outset of the show was what's happening in American politics today. And, of course, first time in many years, D'Amica, as you know, we have a presidential election cycle where we have someone running for president that is not present. Okay? We got a guy that ain't even there. We have a guy running for president that's not present.
Right.
Hey, LaTanya.
Hey.
So it's very important that we have this conversation, okay? Mm-hmm. We have a gentleman running for president that is not present. Mm-hmm. We also have another guy that don't know when to say when. Can we have this conversation today?
Oh, absolutely.
This is a wide open live broadcast, Don Miller Show right here. You can give us a holler. If you're listening on Facebook, thank you. Subscribe and like. That's what they told me to keep saying. Subscribe. Click that little thing. Subscribe and like. You got to let people know y'all listening to us and watching us. Well, they going to ask us to leave this bitch. Like they told us to leave the other place, even though I was crushing. I was crushing the other place. I ain't going to even play with y'all no more. I get it. Don't nobody want to say it, but I was doing pretty damn good. Talking to my friends in the Panhandle, and in beautiful Ocala, and in Germany, and in Luxembourg. And they were sending me these messages like, never heard a black guy talk like that. Well, you see what they did to the black guy who talked like that. They got my black ass right on up out of there and came up with a whole bunch of reasons why. Because of the budget. Even though I showed up with my own people. But I learned a very valuable lesson. No matter if I walk out to the Maybach or the Rolls Royce or the Lexus or the private jet, still a Negro. Yep, still a Negro. Gonna be handled as such. But we ain't gonna spend a lot of time on that, but I just want people to know. I want you to know. Shout out to my brother, Robbie. I love you so much, bro. And shout out to Crocker, who made me feel so much better about my demise in radio. Love you, bro. And all those friends that wait for me to smoke them damn cigars. Hey, JC, man, I appreciate what you do for the community. Listen, really, really important. Shane Reeve, I miss you, man.
Real extra.
Shane said, hey, Shane, man. Shane did not fire us. Because Shane got fired too. Gonna tell everybody, Shane did not fire us. Shane left before we left. They're like, Shane, get your ass out of here before we get the rest of these people out of here. Hey, Katie, listen, very important, really. I want to spend some time because I think the American public don't really have an outlet to wave their hand and ask these kind of questions. Mm-hmm. I think people are stymied right now by what they're seeing. The Democratic Party is eating their own. And then there are people still saying, nothing to see here, the president's fine. Now, let me tell you something. back in November, December, I flew to Chicago, and I sent my mama home to Jesus. My mama was full of life, and she was vibrant for many years, D'Amica, as you know. You knew her. Mm-hmm. She would call me in, talk to me in the middle of the night. And then that thing hit her. That dementia. And life went south. And I saw in my mama what I see in Joe Biden. And anybody that ain't lost a loved one to this horrible illness, y'all can kiss my ass and turn to something else. Because if you tell me this gentleman is okay, then you're a part of the problem. D'Amica?
I agree.
I'm just saying, listen, I get it. I know this is about politics and people want to engage in the lively art of political ridiculousness. This guy's not well. He's not well. I don't care what you tell me. Again, I had a mama for 60 years who didn't even know me in the 60th year. And this is what I saw. Not what I heard. And I'm watching this, and then I'm watching these arrogant POSs telling me that this old-ass man is okay. Papa need to be at the house. Y'all need to go get Papa. But Papa is surrounded by people who don't love him. They don't love him, guys. His wife don't love him. The crackhead son for sure done rode the train till he can't ride it. He done rode the wheels off this bitch. But I want to have a conversation today with the audience. I want you to call us. How can they call us, Phil? Give them the number. Put the number on the screen.
All right.
Because I want you to feel free to engage in this conversation.
352-717-4071.
This is not about politics as much as it is about being a great nation. Mm-hmm. And as a great nation, we should want to appear to the masses as a great nation.
Absolutely.
You ever lived in a home environment that was raggedy as hell, but you wanted to let everybody else know, we good. We ain't really raggedy. I went to school for a whole week with no electricity, but I put a lamp in the window that was plugged up to an extension cord that ran from my neighbor's house, so my friends still thought we had lights, so I wouldn't be poked fun of. We got to do better, man. This is a crisis, and we continue to let people tell us what our crisis is. We got to do better to be better. D'Amica, you're watching this. Mm-hmm. What are you seeing?
It's really interesting to me because no matter how unhealthy he clearly demonstrates, people still are insisting that he's okay. I read an article about a Parkinson expert visiting the White House 8 times in 8 months. It's really baffling to me. I have heard people that I personally know say, listen, I don't care if he's mumbling. I don't care if he doesn't make any sense when he speaks. I don't care if he's pooping his pants.
I'm going
to still vote for him. Right. And that's really troubling to me. It's really troubling to me.
As it should be.
It's really troubling to me that you can witness somebody clearly not healthy, and you're seeing that person being pushed to limits that clearly he is beyond his limits, and you're okay with that. It's so inhumane. At this point, to me, it's not even about politics. This is elder abuse at its highest level being played out in front of us on a public stage, and that should be concerning to everybody.
And I think what we have found ourselves as these weirdos whose political affiliation trumps humanity.
Right.
Let me just say this.
Absolutely.
Right? Our political affiliation has trumped humanity. Now, let me just say something. Whoopi Goldberg, not only is she the ugliest black woman I've ever seen, she may be the most ignorant, right? I'm going to just say this. Don Miller said this. Ain't nobody else say this. And I don't have to say the views and opinions because you know when they come out of my mouth on this show, she's a clown. And for her to go and say, I don't care if he's going to the bathroom on himself, I'm going to still vote for him. Let me just say this, right? And what has Donald Trump done to so many people to make them feel like a guy whose entire history of legislative action has been against the Negro in writing. Mm-hmm. I'm not making this up. In writing. And I feel bad for Joe Biden. My disdain for Joe Biden is probably higher than any politician I've ever paid attention to. Shout out to our girl.
Shout out to Heather.
We got a phone call if you want to take it.
Yeah, let's run to the phone lines, man.
All right, you're live on the air. Who's this?
Hey, this is Pap Florella.
Hey, Pap from Florilla. How you doing?
Well, I'm better than I deserve, man. I tell you, I've just been sitting back waiting to see what all's going to happen with your show.
Oh, we back then, Pap. Just
And,
stay with us, man. Stay with us, Pap.
Well, is your whole team with you, or just?
Yeah, we got the whole team. We starting out right now. You know, we on a fixed income. We over on a fixed income, Pap. So we got to come in here. Shout out to Phil.
Come in slowly.
Phil, I love Phil. Phil, my little brother, he got equipment that work, okay? And he just told us,
Well,
come on
good.
over here.
That's-
But what we gonna do, Pap? I know you retired. No, you still working, Pap. What we get ready to do,
Oh yeah,
Pap?
I got a day job. Yeah.
What we get ready to do, Pap? And I don't want to rub nobody the wrong way. We on a fixed income. We might have to ring the bell for some blessings. So just don't turn your back on us if we ring the bell for blessings.
No. I'll try to.
Oh my goodness.
I actually was trying to support you guys. Yeah, I went in and trying to find y'all on social media and run you down and seen.
You did a
actually
great
seen
job.
Some pictures of you guys.
Yeah, Pap.
Yeah. Hey, I tell you what, Miss D'Amica, I tell you, you're a whole lot prettier than what they made you out to be.
Well, Pap, we appreciate you, and tell everybody up there in Florilla, Alabama. I'm gonna come up there and hang out with you, Pap. You gotta take me fishing, man.
Oh, I can sure do it, man.
I know you can. Appreciate you, Pap. Thank you, man. Thank you so much, man. That's Pap from Florilla, Alabama. That's right up there in the Panhandle, right over the line. And I appreciate him so much, man.
I know.
Again, we thank you so much. I can't do a podcast where we cut and paste. And again, it's harder to do it this way. It's really easy to do when I signal field cut and take and all them birds. No, I need to ride on through this thing with this monkey shoulder on my back. Again, we thank you so much. But I really want to have a conversation because one of the things that is really troubling to me is the fact that African Americans have gotten sucked in, as always. Let's be clear. Mm-hmm. They co-opt the Negro for the most ridiculous ass non-Negro nonsense. Let me repeat that. I think somebody over there didn't hear me. They co-opt black people for some of the most ridiculous non-black nonsense. I remember when the transgenders walked out of school and the black kids went with them. And I said to myself, every one of them black kids need to stay their ass in school. You ain't got nothing to do with what them transgenders gonna do. Because they going to change their name and change their title and graduate on time. And Xantavius Johnson.
The names, title, and pronouns.
And Dequan Johnson. Okay, and Ron Tavius. And all the Taviuses. And all the Quans going to still be in 5th grade. Okay? I'm saying stop allowing people to co-opt us into the nonsense, to the political discourse that does not benefit us, D'Amica. And what we're seeing here with this president, I get it, guys. Y'all hate Donald Trump. I wish somebody could give me a really good answer, really good reason.
Well, you know what the answers are. That they're the same answers that I get all the time. It's called personality politics. Mm-hmm. Personality politics. So everything is about the person's personality. I don't like that he lies. He grabbed a woman by her, her private parts. He got, he has criminal, offenses. So it's all about his personality, how he's dealt with his business, things of that nature. And they, for whatever reason, think Joe Biden is an upstanding citizen. And
the best.
He loves the African-American community.
Yeah.
So it's a little interesting to me. So, and then when I point out policies, when you try to drive the conversation as it relates to policies, then they kind of backpedal because it's not about policies. It's just about personality. So we're engaging in personality politics. I hate this one. I like that one. So I'm going to vote for this one. No matter whether he can put two sentences together or not. I like this one, and this is who I'm going to vote for. So that's where we are, unfortunately.
And again, who does it benefit really? Like let's just be clear, because I get it. I get we've taken a position, right, that is, as many of the positions that black people have engaged in, detrimental to the growth of the Negro. You concur?
Oh, absolutely.
And this is not, I think we got to be careful when we get sucked in to other people's conversation. Because I live by this, and I want to shout out my boy Steve Kearns over there at the Toyota store in beautiful Leesburg. I appreciate you, man. I need a free car.
Hey.
This is very important, guys. Listen to me. Anything is possible when you sound Caucasian on the phone. You hear me?
Where are we going with
No, stay with me. I know what I'm doing. I do this. Huh? You didn't say it.
Oh, no. I know I didn't say it.
Anything is possible when you sound Caucasian on the phone, right? The fact of the matter is, we have allowed ourselves to be co-opted to our detriment. Let's hit the brakes for a moment and let's look at the history of political engagement of black people in this country. I have watched a congresswoman of color, black lady, go to a microphone and blast Donald Trump and call him a racist. But I also was there when she took a check from him. Jamaica? Am I making this up?
I mean, I wasn't there.
But
so,
you know the
yeah.
story. Okay? You know my political background.
Yes, I do.
Get this man his money back. If all of y'all, if he's a racist today, give him his money back. This is really a problem for me when I watch people that kissed his feet and ran up to him in public places and spaces and told him how wonderful he was to the black community. And now he's a racist. A private businessman for a long ass time, a Democrat, your guy. Donald Trump was a Democrat long as Don Miller black ass was a Democrat. I promise you that forever. I ain't never been a Democrat. Donald Trump was over there with the black people and the white Democrats for years. One of the highest contributors to the Democratic Party. Yes or no?
Yep.
Then he left. Now y'all hate him. Now he's a racist. When Jesse Jackson ran for president, asked Reverend Jackson, what did that blessing look like? When they started the Wall Street Project, asked Reverend Jackson, who gave him free office space on Wall Street for years. Go to YouTube and Google Jesse Jackson, Donald Trump, and listen to the introduction by Jesse Jackson as he talks about his friend Donald Trump and the benevolence in which Operation Push and the Rainbow Coalition received from Donald Trump. I ain't making this up. Go look. Put it on YouTube. But now he's a racist, and he hates black people. Yet the guy who had power, Donald Trump was a rich white. There are a lot of rich whites. He had no power. He's a rich white. You know how many rich whites have no power? I'm going to smoke with one when I get off the air. There's no power. He calls me for favors. Donald Trump was a rich white. Joe Biden had power. He was the chair of the Judiciary Committee in the United States Senate. He's been in D.C. representing the people for almost 50 years. That's power. He had the ability to affect people's lives across the board, yes or no? But the guy, the rich white's a racist. And the guy who created the prison industrial complex, who told us he wouldn't want his kids to go to school with us.
Said
Right?
a lot of terrible things.
Who called the black guys, I call them thugs, he called them predators. I ain't never called a black guy a predator. I call him a thug. But it is amazing how we allow our enemy to pick our enemy. I think we have to have a come to Jesus moment. We have to see and understand where we are today in the conversation. I think when the party becomes bigger than the problem becomes overwhelming.
So you look at things from a different perspective than I do on most occasions. We're
Every day. Every day.
We agree, but we agree for different reasons.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
So, for me, I'm in the community a lot, and I deal with seniors a lot.
Yeah.
So
That's your day job. That's your day job.
Yes. So I get to hear a lot of democratic perspectives. Can I put it that way?
Absolutely.
Because of the population that I deal with. And what I hear, Don, is a lot of people complaining or voicing their frustration with some of the things that impact their day-to-day lives.
Absolutely.
Let's for example, things that are going on with Medicare and Medicaid right now. These are benefits that are available to low income population. So people are voicing their frustrations on one side, but they still vote for the party or the administration that's causing the frustration. But they're mad at the other party or the other person that represents that other party and their policies that actually are more beneficial to them, right? But for whatever reason, the personality of these politicians are so much bigger than their problem that they're willing to vote for the party that's causing the problem. Does that make sense?
No, it makes no damn sense. But it's the America in which we live.
And it's really unfortunate because I'm listening to people and I'm like, okay, but at the same time you're complaining, you're also agreeing by voting for the people that's causing the problem. That makes no sense to me.
And I'm gonna what D'Amica just said. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, man.
Break it down.
I'm gonna break this down. So some of these people, you kind of upstairs. D'Amica on the second floor. I'm still downstairs. Okay. Let me just say this.
Break
right?
it down.
Chicago, Illinois, 60616. The South Side of Chicago. The South Side of Chicago historically has been waving the flag of injustice, has been waving the flag of we need help.
Right.
And they've gotten a little help. It's amazing that they got more help from Richard J. Daley and Harold Washington and those in between than they have from the Negro who came off as an articulate Negro who cared. He's a clown, Brandon bitch-ass Johnson. I want to call him that on the radio and on the damn podcast. He's a bitch. He's low level. He don't even like you Negroes, okay? And now you drop 8, 12, 15, 16,000 illegals who came over the border, and they've gotten more of a blessing than Willie Mae Johnson, who lived on 47th and King Drive, or Miss Cleveland, who lived on Indiana Street, 5108. Been waving the flag for more police protection in their communities. Last weekend alone in Chicago, 100 shootings almost and 18 deaths in a weekend. And this dude wants to attribute this to guns and Nixon. At what point are we going to say, hey, wait a minute, these people that we give our vote, and to a lot of people it's a vote. Don't tell everybody in America. A lot of people in Kansas and Missouri and Nebraska, it's a vote. In Texas, it's a vote. In Utah and South Dakota, North Dakota, and Iowa, it's a vote. But in the Negro community, it's a currency because that's all we have. We don't have anything else. Our vote is our currency. And we have to be strategic as to how we place our currency. That's all we got. We don't own none. And when we own something, they red line.
I'm not gonna agree with that.
No, you don't have to. It's a Don Miller's damn show. You can take your ass to the parking lot. I don't want you to. I'll be mad if you do.
Wait a minute.
But again, my point is, our vote is our currency. Would you agree with that?
Yes, for everyone. Yes.
Absolutely. But it's very important when you allow thousands of illegals to come into a community and you give them more than you've given the people who live in this community.
Absolutely.
And then when the people in this community, like the young lady we had on the show, right, from Chicago, wonderful, wonderful school teacher who's leading the charge. When you give illegal immigrants, the word is illegal, all that undocumented nonsense, you woke-ass white folk, go to hell. It's illegal. If I sneak my monkey ass into France, guess what? I'm illegally in France. I'm not undocumented in France. I'm illegally in France, right?
Right.
So what's amazing, Danny, I won't run her off, man. Appreciate you. What's amazing, I love D'Amica Page. Y'all know how I feel about D'Amica Page. That's my mama's best friend.
Whatever. What you feel and what you do is different.
But I know. Let's pray for me. You the prayer warrior on the show. We got one prayer warrior on this show, and that's D'Amica Page. She just texts Jesus and tell him to stand down.
Oh, my goodness.
So the point is, right, when you see the South Side of Chicago, and people say, Don, why do you always talk about the South Side of Chicago? I'll tell you why. First of all, because I'm from there.
That's number one.
And 40, 50 years ago, when I heard the cry on the South Side of Chicago for help, for jobs and justice, 40 years ago, maybe 50 years ago, and the cry has continued to be the same cry. And now all of a sudden you bring in thousands of illegals, not undocumented, but illegals. And you give them funding from, I don't know where it came from, because you sure to have no funding for my friends in Stateway Gardens or Robert Taylor Homes or Old Block where my mama lived until she went away. They have no funding for us, but you find funding for illegals. And then you put them in these communities. And these aren't educated people coming across the board. These aren't scholars that's going to work at our schools and make our kids better. Oftentimes, these are people that country they came from don't want nothing to do with. But you bless them and you bring them into your country and you give them somewhere to lay their heads when we have thousands of veterans who serve this country with nowhere to lay their heads. And we're supposed to be all right with that. And then you send these politicians to the community to tell these people who've been waving the flag of the struggle, nothing to see here. This is about votes.
Absolutely.
This is about votes. And if you don't think that bringing these raggedy-ass Venezuelans, because the good Venezuelans came here the right way, these raggedy-ass Nicaraguans, these raggedy-ass Mexicans, and these Chinese grown-ass men who going to probably be a problem for us at some point, into this country and giving them a blessing that you didn't give to the people who built this bitch, and you expect me to be okay with it, and then you give us an invalid president who is not even well, and expect us to be okay with it, and then this dude, the sick president, the not well president, tells us in many of his lies, because he got a gang of them, he grew up in the black church. Let me tell you something. I want to spend a few minutes on the black church. I grew up in the black church. D'Amica Page, for sure, grew up in the black church. And many of you listeners, even the white ones, done been to a black church. I know all of my panhandle people right now. Hit the thumbs up if you've been to a black church right now. Thumbs up right now. Subscribe and like. Thumbs up if you've been to a black church. You know how hard it is to not pay attention in a black church with all that damn noise. Phil, you been. It's almost impossible to not pay attention or to lose focus in a black church. Tell me if I'm wrong.
It's extremely engaging.
Oh, the lady next door to you gonna wake you up. The pastor gonna tell you every 5 minutes, turn to your neighbor.
Exactly. Very engaging.
Oh, it's the most engaging place I ever been. Huh?
Absolutely.
They even had an old saying. My grandma said, man, they was nervous. She was nervous as a hoe in church.
Oh, my God.
No, because there's so much going on in the black church, right? There's never a moment when there's not a lot of loud music and a lot of movement and a lot of amen.
And when the pastor is preaching, you got to talk back to him.
Oh,
like it's a
what? Say that.
constant-
Say that.
You got to talk back to him.
What you say? Say that. Give me a thumbs up if you know what I'm
Yes.
talking about. I don't care. Sorry, most of these white listeners that listen to us right now, they done been to church with a friend. And I know for a fact, I took one of my white buddies years ago to church, and he said, man, I was so nervous. He said, why was he hollering at the pastor? He wasn't. He was engaging in the sermon.
Absolutely.
So they take Joe Biden. Phil, you got this, man. So Joe Biden's been telling us for years, right, that he went to black church. He grew up. Let's listen to this, Phil. Come on, man. He grew up in the black church. I got up and went over to the black church.
When you're involved in the civil rights movement as a kid in high school, I used to go down to the black church. I go to 7:30 Mass. I'm a practicing Catholic. Then I go to 10 o'clock. And then we sit and plan what we're going to do in terms of desegregation. You think I'm joking? I'm not.
Yeah, you're joking. What is he talking about, Phil? You ain't been in no black church. You ain't no plan no desegregation in Delaware. Yeah, we can ready to segregate. We going to go march down there. This guy has gotten away. I'm just a low-level dude with a ragged-ass podcast with a friend whose stuff work. Okay? That's why I'm over here with Phil. They say, Don, why you drive all the way over there 2 hours to go see Phil? Because his stuff work. All his equipment work. Right now, don't I look good, y'all? Because Phil's equipment is on point. You got good equipment, D'Amica. Tell me if I'm wrong, D'Amica.
Oh, it's too good.
D'Amica, listen to me.
Good.
D'Amica talk about...
I'm a hairy person.
D'Amica talk about we can see her mustache. You ain't got no mustache. You smoking hot, okay? But the point I make is this. Joe Biden says he grew up in a black church. And then he goes to a black church. Phil, you ready for me, man? He takes his old ass to a black church and don't know the black church rules. Because when they say stand in the black church, you better get your ass up. Listen to this.
Let us stand together. Oh,
At the cross, at the cross,
where I first saw the light.
and the burden
Oh, the heart rolled away. He don't know what to do. Why y'all doing it to that man? Why they doing that to him? Phil, tell me. Come on, man.
Oh, my goodness.
Is it me? Am I being a jerk right now?
No.
Papa need to be in a rocking chair with a nurse sitting over there reading a magazine that's going to put him to bed when the time is okay. And check his pamper first. Okay? My point is this. What are we doing? How is this okay? And to black people, y'all toting this dude around from Maine to Mississippi. This man need to be asleep. Taking a couple of naps a day. It's not okay, D'Amica.
You know, I saw an article, I think it was maybe yesterday, that he missed a couple of international meetings because he needed to go to bed by 4 o'clock.
I'm making this up. We making this up. We lying. We just lying.
They
We
have
lying.
to be lying on Joe.
We lying,
don't
man.
have
We
to
just
be-
making. They like Don Miller over there. Them white people, them white Republicans, them paid Don Miller. Then go over there. I can't even afford to pay Phil tonight. Can y'all help me out? I mean, them white people done paid Don Miller to go over there back on the podcast. I can't even I put $20 worth of gas in the Buick and brought my ass over here. I got to get D'Amica $20 to get back to Leesburg. And then whatever is left, we going to bless Phil with. I got to have a bottle of Hennessy. I hope he take it. Come on, man. What are we doing?
My goodness.
Right? The
It's too
fact of the
much.
matter is, it's amazing and contradictory at a level that I'm totally unfamiliar with, right? So you ask the average Democrat of color, can we stay with color for a minute? Black. I don't like of color. I like black. Because everybody of color. Kamala Harris is of color. And you know she became black only when she needed to be black. She ain't never claimed black. She was everything but black. You go read her birth certificate. Shout out to Real Rap Kane. It's a white. I got our official birth certificate. It say white. I'd have checked the white box too. I wish I'd have told my mama, check that white box. But that's okay because it would help my credit just a little bit, right? The point I make is this, right? So we look at this conversation and we look at it the way we should be looking at it is there's a guy by the name of David Axelrod. Now, I'm from Chicago, and I know the name Axelrod, but I was gone already. And I know that David Axelrod, not only did he create the Obama presidency, there are 6 black mayors that campaigns were managed by David Axelrod and several black politicians who got put on the map by one David Axelrod, who's a brilliant strategist. I get it. People's like, he's a Democrat. I could credit where it's due. I ain't going to play that game with y'all. You ain't going to throw me off. David Axelrod is a beast. Jimmy Carville, who's a beast. And he's a Democrat, and he's a strategist, and they're good. These guys are the top of Democratic strategists in this country. Mm-hmm. So David Axelrod, who was Obama's guy, Obama didn't know the Pritzkers. David Axelrod did. Obama didn't know the money people. David Axelrod did. Oh, and he didn't know nobody, but Michelle knew everybody. Let's be clear, right? He was selected before he was elected. David Axelrod comes to the microphone just recently. Phil, you got me on this one.
Sure do.
I want y'all to hear this.
It's just there are certain immutable facts of life, and those were painfully obvious on that debate stage. And the president just doesn't seem to he hasn't come to grips with it. He's not winning this race. He's more likely, if you just look at the data and talk to people around the country, political people around the country, it's more likely that he'll lose by a landslide than win narrowly this race. And if the stakes are as large as he says, and I believe they are, then he really needs to consider what the right thing to do here is.
It's interesting
Okay. Now let me just say this. I don't know that there's some people who think they're political pundits and gurus. Y'all don't know shit. All right, I'm a conservative. All these political pundits and gurus don't know shit. That guy's the beast. There would be no Barack Obama presidency twice if it wasn't for that guy. And another guy named Plouffe. Go look. I'm making this up. D'Amica, you know this.
Yes.
I've interviewed that gentleman. And there would be no Obama presidency. There wouldn't be no first black president if it wasn't for David Axelrod. And he's saying, hey, this guy's going to screw your deal. Okay? He's singing from the mountaintop. This guy's going to mess your deal up. But they're showing up all over this country saying there's nothing to see here.
It's really interesting. But who looks at it and decides that he's okay? It just really confuses me. Anybody. There are some things that David Axelrod says that I don't necessarily agree with. However,
okay, I agree.
But,
there are a lot.
Right, but at least we can agree that we're looking at the same thing.
Yes.
Like I can respect it. Mm-hmm. I can respect anyone who can agree that we're looking at the same thing.
A shout out to Andrea, who said David Axelrod, and she's a hardcore Democrat. My friend, I love you so much, Andrea. Mm-hmm. She said David Axelrod is the godfather of winning.
Absolutely.
We know this, but it's amazing how the American public don't know when the godfather of winning says, hey, y'all need to figure this out. This ain't going to end good. And not only is Axelrod saying he's going to lose, he said he's going to lose by a landslide.
He also went on to say that if the country meant as much as Joe Biden says it does.
It meant to him.
Yeah. Like if he think that the country is in danger under the administration of Donald Trump, mm-hmm. then if he really believed that, mm-hmm. then he would step away and allow someone else an opportunity who is more fit to hold that seat. I thought that was very interesting that he said that.
Okay, let me say them. I want to say this on the radio. I want to tell y'all this, right? Very important. You ever been at a point where you can hold your pee? Let me tell you something. Just stay with me. You ever been at a point where you can hold your pee? The older you get, the harder it is to hold your pee, right? You got to go to the doctor, guys.
But
wait. I'm going somewhere.
Okay.
I know. Because you still young and fit.
No,
you
that's
can still
not what,
run 2
no,
miles.
that's
I bet
not,
you can run 2 miles.
Listen,
because you run 2
stop.
miles.
Can you stop it, please?
Okay, go ahead.
No, that is not what I was about to say.
Okay, go ahead.
Let's just be clear. There are people who are older than Joe Biden who are in better cognitive fit.
Okay, but again, I'm
I'm
talking about holding Peter.
I understand that, but you're attributing those things to the fact of his age.
Mm-hmm.
It's not because he's just in bad health. There are some people who are older than him that are in better health than he is. The bottom line is he is not in good health.
Mm-hmm. G off, man. G off.
Axelrod has the power. Dude is a corrupt gangster.
Okay, let me just say this.
But he just his
he's
health,
not in good health.
His health is declining. Period.
Because let me just say this, guys. Okay, I got a side hustle. Everybody should have a side hustle. I don't know where you live, what county you live in, what city you live in, what country you live in. You need to have a side hustle. The Bible speaks to side hustles. Now, don't the Bible talk about having a side hustle, D'Amica?
If you want to translate it that way.
Okay, what is it? What did the Bible say about it?
You should have at least 7 to 8 streams of income.
Okay, the Bible speaks. I got a side hustle. My side hustle is at the funeral home. So if Joe was like a cousin, a friend of mine, a family member, I'd be trying to sell him a nice 18-gauge casket. I'm telling y'all the truth. You follow me? The fact of the matter is he's not well.
He's not well.
We're not making fun of him not being well because even with and I'm going to tell you, I told y'all this a long-ass time ago, I'm suffering from compassion fatigue. Words cannot express how much I don't care, right? I'm just being honest, right? I feel bad watching this gentleman who I have a disdain for. Can I tell you, you're walking with Jesus a little bit when you don't like somebody and still feel bad for them? The first time I realized you could love Jesus and still not like somebody was when I had a guy that robbed me named Robert Lamb. Took my money, named Robert Lamb. I was in 5th grade. No, I was in 7th grade. He robbed me. And he died. And I felt bad for him. He just robbed me 2 weeks before he died. Because the heart. I want to attribute this to D'Amica Page.
I don't know about that.
No, you keep my heart in order. You keep my heart in order. That damn Quetta Jean Johnson from the Johnson family.
No, I don't keep nobody's
Quetta Jean
heart
Johnson
in
from
order.
the Johnson. No, Quetta Jean Johnson from.
Don't attribute that to me.
No,
at all.
I got people in my life that keep me understanding that the walk with Christ.
I can't keep nobody's heart right. If God ain't keeping it, it is not being
maybe
killed.
It's God, but I felt bad for people who did me wrong. Mm-hmm. That tells me I got a shot at the kingdom, right? Got a little shot. I got a little shot at the kingdom. If I feel bad for somebody who did me wrong, do I still have a shot at the kingdom?
You forgiving them?
Oh, can I get a thumbs up and a few likes?
Are you forgiving them?
I ain't say that. But I feel bad for people who wronged me. That tell me that I'm still marching up to Zion.
You might got a toe in.
Oh, what a beautiful place, right?
Give him that forgiveness.
I'm still pressing my way through, right? So if you feel bad for people who have wronged you, you still got a shot at the kingdom.
If you forgive people who have wronged you, then yes, you have.
Okay, so
you have a
look,
shot.
I just want a shot at the kingdom. If you can get me up to the gate, I can talk my way in.
I don't know if you can.
Hey, Jacob.
You can't talk your way
is that
in.
Jacob? Hey, Paul, this me, Dom, remember? Huh? Hey, Paul. Let me speak to Hezekiah. He remember me. Hezekiah. Huh?
There's a similar story in there.
I know. Hezekiah.
It didn't work.
You ever try to go to a game and get in and you don't know how you ain't got no ticket, but you see somebody you know that's in already?
Right.
Hezekiah. This Don. Okay, I just need to get to the gate. Long as I know I'm on the path to the gate, I think my talk game field could get me in, man. So even in the struggle, I'm watching this gentleman who has a history against black people, and I feel bad for him. Yeah, I do, actually, yeah. Even in the struggle, the 300 pieces of legislative action, oftentimes written, mostly signed by Joe Biden. Even in the struggle, I remember very well how he degraded a young attorney by the name of Anita Hill during the Clarence Thomas Supreme Court hearings. Even in the struggle, he said that he didn't want his kids to go to school with people who looked like me. Even in the struggle, when he eulogized Strom Thurmond, Robert Byrd, and Senator Stennis, devout, racist, anti-Negroist. Even in the struggle, I say, why are we prancing this guy who is not well in front of cameras? And there are people who may say, Don Miller, cut it out. Karma is a sexy bitch, okay? Let's be clear now. There are people who say he locked up the user more than he locked up the dealer. And now his son is a crackhead, Phil. And there are people who say karma is sexy. But even in the struggle, I feel bad for this gentleman. His wife's terrible because she should be the first one to raise her hand and say, listen, it's time for him to go home.
When have you ever seen a first lady or a wife stump as much as she has for Joe Biden? Have you?
She liked that life. That's a hell of a life, though. That's a hell of a life.
I don't know that I've seen anyone do as much as she has.
That's a hell of a life now. Come on now.
But anyway, I've also heard people say that versus Donald Trump, that Joe Biden actually loves this country. But I would pose the question that if you believe he actually loves this country, if you know that you are not healthy, if you know that you physically and mentally cannot do the job, if you really love this country, wouldn't you allow someone who is fit to run the country, someone who is actually physically and mentally fit to stand and negotiate with Putin and whoever else we need to speak with on the foreign stage, on the world stage? Like, if you really believe that, okay. I just think people say things and they don't really pay attention to what they're actually saying because it doesn't make sense.
In the words of my plug,
oh my God,
my plug is brilliant. I love my plug, man. In the words of my plug, Joe Biden is somewhere roasting marshmallows before bedtime.
No, his marshmallow is being roasted.
Somebody holding the stick over the fire. Just wait a minute, we gonna get to you. Some black lady, some CNA, working at the White House. She's a night nurse. I ain't knocking CNAs. I thank you for your service, CNAs. My mama almost was a CNA, but she decided to be a lunchroom lady. Okay, same pay.
Same thing? Did
same
you really
pay.
just say
same pay.
Same pay.
Short money. I ain't trying to be funny, but she brought cookies home every night.
Oh my goodness.
I'm just telling you the truth. Go check.
Just,
Phil, you think I'm terrible, man? I just want people to like and subscribe. Go like and subscribe, man. Tell everybody, man, that I'm over here on the Don Miller podcast, and I need all the support again. I'm going to probably, if I want to keep this going, D'Amica has to drive about an hour. How long it take you to get here?
Around about.
Huh?
Around about.
Hour? A little over an hour. Yeah. So please tell people I'm going to sell the Buick next week so we can stay on the air. I don't want to sell the Buick. The Buick is very important to me. I don't know if you ever had when's the first time you got your first Buick? I always wanted an electric 225. What did we call them back in the day, Phil? A deuce and a quarter. I don't want to sell the Buick, but I want to stay on the air. The people over at Florida Man Radio, they fired us. They got rid of us. The owner, John, he called all the white people and explained to them what was happening. I haven't heard from him since he came in the studio on a commercial break and told us, D'Amica.
Is that how it really went?
Ask D'Amica. Did he come in the studio and tell us the station was being sold? And I pretty much told him to get out of the studio?
No, you did not.
Okay, what happened?
No, that was the day we were leaving.
No, that's the day we were leaving.
When he came
Had we talked to him prior to that?
Oh, I hadn't talked to him, no.
Right, no. He showed up and come in the studio.
On our last day.
Yeah, the station closed and y'all need to go and get your stuff.
He didn't say that.
He didn't have to say it. That's what he said. So we got kicked out. And we got kicked out after I worked for free for 6 months. I did not get a check, but I wanted D'Amica and Holly to be taken care of on Florida Man Radio. So I said, look, take care of D'Amica and Holly because I was going to be all right. And we wanted to prove. I have no problem proving to the masses that we're good at this. So I did not get paid, D'Amica.
Was it 6 months?
Me and Holly worked for free for 4 months.
4 months?
4 months before any money came in.
Right.
We started at 1 hour.
Yep.
Then we went to 2 hours. Then they got rid of Dan Bongino and gave us 4 hours. Mm-hmm. Then that's when I made sure that everybody was taken care of. Mm-hmm. The fact of the matter is, I know y'all, damn, how did Don pivot to that? Because Don's pretty good at this. Okay.
Oh, my goodness.
No, for real. I got to do this because I'm getting so many hits from people asking me to address this. And we got about, how many minutes we got?
We were not fired. The station was sold.
Got about 8
The
minutes.
station
How
was
many minutes we
sold.
got?
You got like 8 minutes.
So the station was
The
sold.
station was sold.
But how many people who worked at the station with us still got their job?
Just 2 shows.
No.
That's all I'm aware of. Is 2
Jonathan's
shows.
back.
That's 2 shows.
And Shannon.
The Shannon Burke show
And Bubba.
Are they
He's not
back
really
in
local.
studio though?
Huh?
Are they back in studio?
No, but they still
there's-
on the station.
There's only 2 local shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was only 3
Bubba's-
local shows. There's only 3.
Yeah, no, you said how many went back? I said 2.
And how many was there?
shows. 3.
And who's the out man?
The colored guy.
Wait, all the black people gone?
Yeah, man. I got rid of. First of all, that Thursday night before they sold the station, I was off the damn. I was gone Thursday
Off the
night.
app.
I was off the app. D'Amica was like, you ain't on the app. I was like, no. Okay.
You know, Don, we
Oh,
can
my
fix
goodness.
that.
No, listen. I ain't mad. I want to thank
You're not mad?
Shane for real. Mm-hmm. I appreciate you, dog. I want to thank Chris. Man, I love you, man. I appreciate you. Okay? I mean this. And it's funny because I ain't getting ready to thank no whack-ass Caucasian who shit on me. That dude, John, you a bitch. And I want everybody who knows him to tell him I said he's a bitch. Okay? And I don't play this game because I worked my ass off for free, sir, for almost a year to build your station to such an extent that you got rid of a whole ass station to move us over there. So you're a bitch, sir, and I hope your rich ass understand that I ain't scared of you in this market. And I didn't want to do this. Shout out to my friend. Love you so much, Cheney Mason. Love you so much, Robbie, man. This ain't cool. Because Don Miller came to that mug in a Buick, and he left in a Buick. Didn't get my car repossessed. But there are people who show up every day and bust their asses. And the 2 guys who started that Monday, and one of them quit his job to come over to sell that station. And Thursday, you told him the station was no longer there. To me, that ain't cool. And I was going to come on here and do the Don Miller little 1 hour of power. But I got to do this because I love people. And I love people. I adore people. I love Heather. I love you, Heather. And when you shit on people, you shit on me. Because I'm about people. And when the 2 guys who showed up that Monday, one of them quit his job and was like, yeah, I can do this, and came to us to sell this programming. And you tell them on a Thursday it's a wrap. And you call yourself a businessman? No, you're a part of the national problem, sir. You take your ass back to your fancy house and ride around in your fancy car and live good life. But Karma is the sexiest bitch I ever tongue kiss. You don't want that on your life. Look at the guy on Pennsylvania Avenue today. That's karma. Look at the guy who dumped on the masses to gain wealth. How do you work for the government for 47 years and end up worth $20 million? I know Mr. Willie Miles, who worked for the government for 40 years. And he retired, and he still got to hustle to make ends meet. But you worked for the government for 47 years, and now you're worth $20 million. And your son's rich. Your daughter's rich, and your brother's rich. You can't dump on people. But you can't dump on people and expect a guy like me with a microphone and a platform to say that's okay. It ain't okay, D'Amica Page. D'Amica Page, I love people. You love people. You're going to leave here tonight and call a senior citizen on your way home. Am I right?
Yes.
And I know her name. Shout her out because she listening.
Yeah. No.
Shout her out.
Mary Tucker.
I love you, Miss Mary.
Yeah.
She listening.
Yeah.
Shout your mom out. She listening.
Yes. No, it was definitely.
Shout your mom out.
Hey, Mom.
Hey, Mom.
It was definitely not done in a professional manner.
Oh, they fired us. D'Amica talking about they done fired us. They sold the station. Let me tell you what not fired. Not fired is if they bring anybody back, they bring everybody back. Phil?
That's right.
That's right. So listen, we going to tell you what we getting ready to do. We going to be back next Wednesday night. We going to tell Phil right now, 7:30. Like and subscribe, like and subscribe. But next Wednesday night, we getting ready to announce that we going to have a Patreon or some of this. Because I can't afford to keep driving that damn ragged-ass Buick all the way across town and getting D'Amica money to get back over there, back up in there, around there, over there. Okay? We need help. I know it's like, man, I sure hate to be the black guy to come on there. White people come on the radio and ask for money like it ain't nothing. Hey, well, we need the support. I remember Jim Baker and Tammy Faye with ugly ass. We need support. And they were like, oh, you need support, Jim and Tammy? They gave Jim Baker support. They gave Cuff Your Dollar. What's his name? Creflo Dollar. They gave him support. They gave Benny Henny his some money. They gave Jakes his money. Don Miller needs some support. Can y'all bless me next week? I ain't get ready to hit you. I'm going to give you a chance to raise a few dollars, go around to extra friends. I need to stay on the radio, y'all. I really need to be able to do this podcast. Phil.
Don, I'm telling you, though. I'm telling you.
I know. I seem like I'm out here raising money for
I'm telling
kind
you.
of
I didn't know
program.
I didn't know I was coming on a telethon.
As someone who left,
We shall overcome.
as someone who left ESPN at the top of my game to do podcasting, you're in the right space, my man.
We shall overcome someday. No, I really, y'all, look, I'm going to ask y'all for some money in the next few weeks. Go to me, follow us. Follow me, The Don Miller Show, on every platform. Follow us on Facebook, The Don Miller Show, Instagram. How can they follow you? D'Amica don't need no money right now. She over there taking care of them seniors. They got fixed income. How can they follow you, though?
D'Amica Page.
Huh?
D'Amica Page.
Where?
Huh? On all platforms.
D'Amica.page.
You can follow me on Instagram, Facebook. It's the same thing, D'Amica Page.
How can they follow Phil over there?
At Podcast Doctor.
At Podcast Doctor, y'all can follow me. I'm going to go over here to the Wawa and get $5 worth for 90, and I can't even get the 93 no more. I'm on the 88. $5 worth for 80. My car knocking like a cheap hoe.
Oh, my goodness.
But I just want y'all to know we're going to start asking for some help. I didn't want to do it. D'Amica, you know I ain't like this. I did not want to do this. I want to come on the radio and ask these people for no help.
You know you're not on the radio, right?
I didn't want to go nowhere and ask for help. I'm a proud black man who don't know his daddy. Hey, what you got to say to people before we get out of here?
You throwing me way off.
I know.
You're doing the most.
I know.
That's the problem about the podcast. You don't have no limitations,
filter's
no boundaries.
Gone. Filter's gone. How can they follow you? Tell them what. Hey, send her some messages. D'Amica need to be inspired too. She told me she didn't want to come back no more because this is terrible and she's tired of driving across town. Okay.
If I'm not coming back, it's because you don't know. You don't have limitations.
Oh, come on. Tell them how they can follow you.
Well, I just did. D'Amica.page on all platforms.
Listen, I love D'Amica. She's my sister. Everybody knows she's my sister. She stands with me when nobody stands with me. Except for Quetta Johnson from the Johnson family of ridiculous ass behavior. Hey, shout out to the lady in charge of the fragrance ministry. LaTanya, the fragrance ministry.
Yes,
she hooked you up, didn't she?
Yes, she did.
Yeah, fragrance ministry. We got a fragrance ministry at my church. If you come in that bitch smelling some kind of way, you gonna get a blessing. Okay, the fragrance ministry, LaTanya.
Oh my goodness.
Shout out to Pastor Frazier, Pastor Riley. Shout out to Robbie at the Vineyard Lake Mary.
Yes.
Shout out to Sam at Chopsticks. Shout out to Joe Giovanni and Giovanni family.
Shout out to Geoff.
Oh, Geoff, man, we love you, homie. Man, dude, that dude over there in the middle of nowhere, back up in there, Sparky 352.
Sparky. Shout out to
Damn,
Sparky.
man.
Everybody's
And this
been hitting
dude
us
called the show before we came on the air. Who was that, Phil?
Pat.
Pat Pap from Florilla, Alabama. Let me tell you something about Florilla, Alabama. They ain't seen a Negro since 67, okay? And Pap tune in every week to listen to the Don Miller Show. Thank you so much for all of our friends in the beautiful panhandle of Florida. We appreciate the support. We love you so much. We'll be back next Wednesday right here on the Don Miller Show on all platforms. D'Amica?
Yep.
You coming?
When?
Next Wednesday.
No, I don't know.
Oh, come on. Thanks so much, everybody. Bye-bye. Subscribe and like. Tell everybody.